I've been getting a lot of requests to do a state management in SvelteKit video where we use SvelteKit stores. So I'm going to today show you how to do that. Hello YouTube. My name is Braden Gerard, and today we're going to look at how you can use state management in SvelteKit. So if you're just using Svelte in general and you realize that you can't use state across components anymore, at a certain point your project will get to a certain size where unrelated components need access to the same state or the same data. And it gets very difficult to pass state from components that are unrelated, as you can't just pass it in as a props and pass it down to a child component because the components are completely unrelated. When this happens, you need to use state management. And every web framework has some sort of system to do state management. Now, Svelte's system for doing this is called Stores, and it's really quite simple. All it is a JavaScript file that exports a Svelte object, and this Svelte object can be either changed, it can be wrote to or read from, and it can be watched. So you can see when it gets changed and you can update your templates according to the updates to the store. We're going to look at how you can do this today in SvelteKit, and it's very similar to how you would just do it in a basic Svelte project. So let's jump into the code and see how we can use Svelte state management or stores inside of SvelteKit. Okay, so I'm just going to start a new SvelteKit project here with Node to TypeScript and regular CSS, and then we'll just install the dependencies. So I'm going to open that up in Visual Studio Code, and then we will take the store example from the Svelte website and we'll implement it here into SvelteKit. Okay, so we need to create our store file first off. Now you can create that wherever you want. I'm just going to create it in the source directory and we'll call that stores.js. Now if you wanted to put that somewhere else, you could put it somewhere else. You just have to appropriately put the correct path in when you're actually trying to import the stores. So if we go over to the Svelte tutorial, we'll just copy this tutorial here where they have the counter. So we're going to take the app.svelte here and we'll copy that over into our project's routes index because that's our main page here. Okay. Now we have the incrementer, decrementer, resetter components here, which we'll create in a second, and our store file. So our store file at /store.js will not work because it's not currently in this routes folder. So we have to go up one directory to the source folder. So I just use the relative URL to reference stores.js. This seems to be working fine for me so far. There may be an easier way to reference this source folder once we actually have some documentation on SvelteKit, just like the way that they've added to access components using the $ shortcut. But for now, the relative pathing seems to be working fine for me. So if I want to, again, reference these components from inside the components folder, we have to change this to $components and then / the name of the component. So $components and $components. And we'll just save that. Okay, so there we go. We have our main page done. If we go back here, we'll copy these three components really quick. So we have the decrementer component, which we will create in here. Let's just rename our counter and call that decrementer. And inside of there, we will get rid of everything and paste the decrementer component. We'll do the incrementer component. So we'll copy everything out of there, make a new component, incrementer.svelte, and paste that in there. Then we will take the resetter component, create a resetter component, .svelte, and paste that in there. And then we will copy our store.js or stores.js file into our stores.js. So this is a writable store, okay? And if you want to learn more about how to create writable stores, you can just reference the svelte.dev website tutorial under writable stores. There's all different types of stores that you can create. And if you come over here to the documentation and you look underneath the stores section right here, section 8, you have writable stores, auto subscriptions, readable stores, derived stores, custom stores, and store bindings. I may do videos on each one of these eventually, but the point of this video is just to show you how to implement the store into SvelteKit. So we have our writable store and it's being exported as the count, which will be then used inside of our counter here. So we have these this relative path to our stores.js setup. Perfect. I've put my code inside of my stores.js, and we're referencing each component from the components folder. So if I go over to these components in the components folder, they also need to access the store. So again, we need to use the relative path to go up a directory to the source directory. So we save that. That's for the decrementer, the incrementer as well, and then our resetter. And that's all you should have to do to get stores working in SvelteKit. So let's do an npm run dev -- open. And if we open that up in our browser, we have our account, and we can increase it and decrease it, and we can reset it if we want. And that's working off of our stores.js. Okay, so creating stores in SvelteKit is not much different from creating it in a regular Svelte project. You just have to be careful of how you reference this stores.js file. Currently, the relative pathing seems to be working fine. Like I said, whenever we get official documentation on SvelteKit, there may be some sort of shorthand component, shorthand story symbol like we use here for components to reference that source folder. Again, you could put this somewhere else if you want that you think might make more sense. I like to leave it in my source directory since it's sort of global to my project. I hope that helped.
Thanks for sticking around for another one of my SvelteKit tutorial videos. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to give this video a thumbs up so that YouTube knows that you really like what you're seeing here, and it's going to show it to more people like yourself. If you want to catch more of my SvelteKit tutorial videos or development videos in general, I'm going to be releasing tons of content in the upcoming months, so make sure to drop a subscribe on my channel so that you don't miss out. Thanks for hanging out and have a great day.